It's brought down in the pasuk, Devash v'chalav tachat leshonech. The Torah is compared to honey and milk. Devash v'chalav tachat leshonech. When we use our lashon, our tongue, for study of Torah, it is as if we are eating honey and milk. The explanation to this is that honey is very, very sweet. Milk may be a little bit sweet, but not so sweet, but it's nourishing. Torah is sweet and nourishing. When a person learns Torah, not only he enjoys the study of the Torah if he learns properly, it's nourishing. It goes into our whole body and soul, and it gives us nourishment. And that's the beauty of Torah. And we're so fortunate that God gave us the Torah, and this it will be commemorated on Chag HaShavuot. I'd like to discuss the concept of Chalav Israel, or Chalav Nochri, whichever one you want to look at, the positive side, the negative side. We all know there's a famous ruling of Rabbi Feinstein allowing Chalav, non-Chalav Israel, meaning Chalav, milk which was not supervised by a mashgiach whilst the milking process was taking on. His responses are quite famous, even though towards the end of his life there's actually a letter which he clarifies that he only allowed it at times which you couldn't get hold of Chalav Israel. But if you've got Chalav Israel b'shefa, in abundance, you don't have to go around relying on leniencies. That's what Rabbi Feinstein wrote in a letter. However, I'd like to just update people for making them understand how to relate to this restriction. Is it a good practice? Is it a halacha? Is it a humrah? What is going on here? What is this argument whether we can rely on Chalav Nochri nowadays or not? So let me explain to you that this is really rooted back in a machloket Rishonim. It goes as early as 800 years ago, this argument. There is a debate when the Talmud discusses that you need to have a Jew standing by the side of the farm, even if the farm has non-kosher animals, whether it's a blanket rule and it's a rule that it's applicable even in situations where there is no doubt that the goy might have put non-kosher milk. Yes, the original establishment was because of that doubt that the goy might tamper with the milk, but once the rule is being given, is it a blanket rule? Will this apply at all situations that we need a Jew standing, just like by Bishul Goyim, when you come by food cooked by non-Jews? It's irrelevant if you're inspecting and watching it and you're seeing the ingredients are 100% kosher, you need to have an involvement. So too by milk, they reduce the restriction that is sufficient by a Jew to stand by. Or the other option, which other commentators and other halachic rulers hold, is that no, it all depends on the situation. That if there is a concern that non-kosher milk might have been mixed, only then do we have to have someone watching over the farm. So really, Rabbi Feinstein's ruling is really subject to an ancient argument amongst our Rishonim. So he went and followed after the Pri Chadash, the Radvaz, and many great poskim who hold that it's not a blanket rule. No, we don't always say that it's forbidden to have, unless there is a doubt and a serious. So for example, if non-kosher milk is more expensive, so there's no reason why the non-Jew will mix non-kosher milk into the kosher milk, because it'll be a loss for him. To increase the volume, he won't take him something more expensive. Or that there are no non-kosher animals in the area which the milking is taking place, so the chances are he's not going to bring from somewhere else. They hold in such situations there's room to be lenient. Comes Rabbi Feinstein, gives a further idea. The fact that the government imposes penalties onto a company, that in itself is protecting us that he's not going to mix non-kosher milk. That's a bit questionable because sometimes the government officers strike, or you're quite clear they don't come and visit. According to Rabbi Feinstein, that leniency goes away. So that we have to be aware of that. However, there are many opinions on the other side which hold, starting from the Sharei Dura, starting from Rashi. Rashi wrote in one of his books that the ruling of having supervision over the milking of a cow, that is actually a blanket rule, irrelevant if you can mix non-kosher or not. It says, Poretz geder ishchen or nachash, meaning that it's a geder, it's a boundary which the Chachamim have created because of those concerns that we always need a Jew at the side of the farm. And going down there, going down to Achronim, a lot of Sephardi Achronim actually hold that one should maintain this stringency of this rule of having a Jew next to it. So therefore, those people who don't observe have who to rely on. There are many authorities which may hold their ground. However, those who are stringent, because it's not a chumrah stringency. Actually, according to those opinions, it's a necessity. It's a halacha that you must have a Jew at the side of the farm. So Chalav Israel, to those who maintaining, observe it, is actually a halacha. It's not just a stringency. So the fact that people look at these people who are stringent and in a funny way, Rabbi Feinstein, it's not at all. Because in fact, I will tell you that majority of authorities and contemporary authorities actually maintain that opinion that it is a blanket rule, and we don't differentiate when there's a possibility or when there's a law. We don't allow it unless there's a Jewish person present at the time of the milking. There is a discussion whether CCTV would be sufficient or not, but that's not our discussion today, just to clarify the matter of Chalav Israel. So really, in conclusion of what we've said, I'd like to give a principle in order to, the people should, the whole leniency of non-Chalav Israel, even Rabbi Feinstein will write that, is by milk, by a product which is essential, which people need it. To compromise on this great argument which we mentioned above, on chocolates and on fancy things, which are not really a necessity in our lives, people should try. Today there's a lot of substitutes, there are a lot of chocolates, so they may not be on that level of quality, but should we compromise on a major argument now on luxuries? I think we shouldn't, and that's what people should maintain. If we're in a situation that there's no kosher milk, min Chalav Israel, then we can start debating whether to take the more lenient, since it's an Isur D'Rabbanan. But currently, we don't have that excuse so much nowadays.